A good day. Today's August 31st. My name is Vince Stafford with the Oregon State Fire Marshal's Office, Operations Chief. So kind of go over today's plan and how the fire is behaving. So up on Lighthouse, looking really good today. Last night went really well around the center up there. But we were kind of, been working in there. So a couple little structures that are kind of out on the outer edge are looking really good. So just we're going to monitor that. So today should be a really good day to kind of button that up, we're hoping, and that's just looking great for us today. So, excuse me. And then coming down on the Cougar, on Hubbard Creek, kind of on the lower and upper end. The lower end will be in there again with this favorable weather. We can really get in around the structures as that fire had kind of moved down. So it gives us some time to get in there and really make more defendable space and really kind of lock in those lines and mop up. On the upper end, same thing on the Hubbard Creek, the fire kind of creeped down a little bit. And this weather gave us a little pause to get in there and just help that and secure those lines around the structure. We're feeling really good about in that area now with this weather. So it's going to give us a window to really kind of button up and mop up in those areas. You also see us kind of patrolling in some of those other zones, these evacuation zones of the level 1s and level 2s. But today with this weather, you see maybe a little less presence just because the spot fires, we're not so worried about those today. So if you don't see us out and about in those, it's just because of the weather. And so really feeling good about that, and kind of into my report for on the structure side. So see you tomorrow.
Good morning, Kyle Gibbons, Operations with ODF Team 1. So on the Cougar Creek fire, yesterday it was the roughest weather we've had in several days since we've been here. And then there was a little bit of a front coming in. The winds in front of that front gave us some fits in the late afternoon. So we'll go around the fire and kind of cover those. So up here on Division Alpha, we picked up some slop overs around DP 16. Fire came out of that canyon fairly hard yesterday afternoon, through some spots across the line, probably 80 to 100 acres, something like that, maybe a little bit less. And then working to the south, or down into Division Foxtrot, or in Division Lima, sorry, Bear Creek area, steep, kind of bluffy, so Hubbard and Bear Creek kind of in that area. Steep and bluffy. The fire kind of blew out of that drainage a little bit, and coordinated with OSFM, they were protecting the structures, and then we had fire get kind of established in the Bear Creek drainage, and we were able to get some access and start some work on that last night for night shift. So crews got in there, started trying to pick that fire back up. And then tie it back into the main fire. So work continues in there, quite a bit of scouting, both Alpha and Lima. They're scouting today. They have crews tying that fire back in where it's safe to do so. It's not too steep. So just it's hand tools, putting in a fire line, catching it where you can, and then and getting some access points with heavy equipment, bulldozers, feller bunchers, things like that. And then working around to Foxtrot. So the slop over on Hubbard Creek, that was several days ago now, continues to hold. Crews were in there mopping that up. So we're looking good there. That's a big win for yesterday and kind of where we are as far as the direction of the movement of the fire. And then moving down farther on Foxtrot, yesterday's weather, we lost our containment line. Coming off of Hubbard Creek and up, so it's once again back into that bluffy rimrock type of terrain, and so the fire continues to move along this. So it's checked up with the road on top, and then just continues to move in this steep terrain. The weather's kind of moderated it for today, and guys are out scouting kind of where we can cut that off. And then, what kind of, are there different tools we can be using to kind of get a containment line and get that checked up so it doesn't continue. Moving on to Charlie, we'll be just getting in there, tight lining that today. Not a lot of control issues on Charlie yesterday, so it held fairly strong. And we're continuing to get lines in, crews in there to tighten that up. So Charlie's still valid, hanging in there, and we had a pretty good day in there yesterday. Moving over to the lighthouse fire. So the lighthouse fire, we had a great day on that yesterday. So it behaved itself, and then we were able to, instead of bringing it down these lines, conditions allowed for us to get in there with hand crews and go direct, cut off, a couple hundred acres probably, something in that category. So we got some hand crews that were able to tighten between some roads with stuff, and then in some more of the bluffy terrain, they're going to be in there today assessing the situation. If we can get in there, tight line it, cut off that resource, save some more of that, or if we're going to have a little bit more of an indirect line, and then have to clean up that later when conditions allow. So Lighthouse Fire is Division Sierra and Tango. And we had a great day on that yesterday, so we'll continue efforts there to get that stuff tight, fire line right on the edge of the black, cut off as much of that as we can. And if not, there'll be areas where we'll have to have an indirect line due to the bluffs and the steepness of the terrain. But the majority of that, it's looking a lot better than it was a couple days ago. So feeling a lot better about that one. Moving up north to the Big Tom fire, kind of the last of the big three we were working on. So this one is totally lined. There's black all around the edge of it. It's just continuing to clean up. On the inside, we picked up 2 spot fires on that fire yesterday. Just small spot fires across the line, 3x3s. Crews got in there, picked those up. So we're just going to continue to hold and mop up the perimeter of the Big Tom fire. So we're feeling pretty good about that. And then the rest of the smaller fires in the complex are getting switched over to patrol status. So there's a little bit of heat in some of them, like Blue Hole. There's still a couple smokes in that. We have crews that go by, they check that fire once a day, mop up the smokes they find, and just kind of keep that in check in a patrol status for now. Once we get in a little bit better shape, then we'll have crews come in and actually grid the entire fires on these smaller ones, and then confirm that they're out, and then we'll get them kind of off the board. So we had some good news and a little bit of bad news yesterday. The weather's changed for us, so we hope to get around that perimeter in the next several shifts, and we're pretty optimistic that things will be looking up in the next few days. So thank you.